So today is another study vlog. I'm getting ready to sit down and do my to-do list and really figure out, make sure that I have everything that I want to do in line for the day so that I can check off as many things as I can on that list, get that done. And the first thing I need to do is what I always need to do is clean up my desk because I cannot work in clutter. You guys know that I've said that before. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my desk real quick, and then I will make a to-do list and tell you guys what all I plan on doing today. So if you're studying today, maybe you can just have this playing in the background, or, well, probably don't want my voice in the background while you're studying. You need to concentrate. But if you are wanting some study inspo and want to follow along with what I'm doing, then go ahead and keep watching. So while I'm standing here, I have my Ritual vitamins. I always have these on my desk. These are the vitamins that I'm taking for my pregnancy. Not sponsored or anything, but these are bomb. I just wanted to say, because I have a lot of moms that follow me. I don't know if anybody else is expecting or wants any recommendation, but I've probably been taking these for the last 6 of the 7 months. So basically the first month of my pregnancy, I was taking something else, and they made me so sick. Like, I could not do it. Every time I would take them, it didn't matter if I ate, like, it just wasn't it. So if you're looking for a prenatal vitamin or vitamins in general, because I have a friend that takes Ritual and she's not pregnant and she takes their vitamins, I don't know which ones, but she saw mine and she said, oh my gosh, I love that brand. And so obviously they have like some good reviews. I've seen like great reviews all over online as well. And I just came across somebody else's YouTube video. She's taking Ritual. She's not pregnant either. She's just taking, I think, their multivitamins. So I would check these out because, again, I have not had any bad experience, any bad side effects from this. So yeah, these are the vitamins. They're always on my desk and I try to like move them out the way, but I only can remember to take them if they're right here in front of my face, and I'm always right here. Also, last vlog, I did start using the Sony mic that I showed you guys, and I noticed that the sound was like not where it should be. I'm trying to figure out because I'm still new to this, so you're gonna have to bear with me through learning this new mic. I don't know if it's because we have really high ceilings in this apartment and it's pretty open concept, so while we obviously have furniture in here, it's still like I can hear myself right now. Like, it's very, very echoey in here. And so I think what I need to do is just have Keith help me in post-production. Is that what it's called? Post-production? He has his headphones on. He can't hear me. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is have him help me when we're editing to tweak the sound and get it to work and sound a little bit better, because I also went ahead and switched the settings on the mic back to auto because I don't know what I'm doing with the mic yet. And last vlog, I tried to follow some settings that I saw on YouTube, on a YouTube video, and it seemed to be better when I was like in the bedroom, and that's more, you know, closed off. It's not as loud as the front of our apartment, and it's not as obviously open space because, like I said, we have open concept here. But I don't know. Hopefully the sound on this sounds a lot better this time. So I'm back at my desk. I'm sitting down at my desk. I never left my desk because I was cleaning it up, but I am sitting down at my desk and I am just looking at a brain dump that I did the other day on my computer to just like really figure out what I wanted to study. So I showed you guys this last time, but this is my beautiful notebook that I've been taking all my notes in for 100 Devs Bootcamp. So all of my stuff is in here. I'll be using this. And then I did get I found a new plant. Well, actually knew about it for years. I just finally like got something from this planner company recently, and the bundle that I got from them came with some pens, and I think right now this is my new favorite pen. This is the Pentel Energel in 0.5. I always use 0.5 pens, like no matter what I use. It's either 0.5 or 0.38 is usually what I use because I love Muji pens. So I'm a gel pen, fine tip type of person because my handwriting is horrible. So anything over 0.5 is usually just gonna make it worse. So anyway, this is what I use for note taking right now. And then I keep everything simple as I do with most things in my life. And I just use one highlighter. So this is one of my Bible highlighters. It's like in a beige color. So I just use this to highlight anything that's bolded or highlighted in the slides. And I keep it simple. I don't use a whole bunch of colored pens and different things like that because I don't know, it's just too much of a distraction for me. And I find that just the highlighter and one pen has been working perfectly fine for me. I just need to go back and revisit the information at the end of the day. So for my actual planning for my code studies, I've just been using, again, my 100 days of code journal, just because, like I said, I'm gonna find a blank page. This layout is pretty good. So you have your, again, I've reviewed all of this stuff before, but for the sake of the video, because it's a study vlog, this goes over what you're focusing on. So you have this whole space to talk about what you're focusing on for the day. You have all your tasks that you can put out, which I like to-do lists and check boxes because I love checking and crossing things out as I get done with them, because first of all, it's satisfying. Second of all, it makes you just feel that much more productive because you can actually see that you are actually doing things that you said you wanted to do. And then there's a few questions like reflection, a reflection page here, like, did I make progress towards my goals? Did I share my progress? You can check yes or no. And then you have spaces to write longer answers like what you learned today, resources that you used, and what went well. So I sometimes fill those parts out. Sometimes I'm like really short with it. I just make little bullet points of things because at the end of my study sessions, honestly, I don't be feeling like writing all this stuff out, but I do heavily use that other side that gives you the breakdown of like what you need to do. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, is find whatever page I was on for the next thing. Let's get into this to-do list. So I'm gonna try to scoot over because I'll probably put it on screen right here for you guys. So I'm gonna write in here. Let's see. So I definitely want to review my notes. I'm trying to get better at actually going back and looking at my notes, because sometimes I'll put stuff in like Anki and I'll do those, which honestly I've been slacking on that too. But I feel like I've been writing notes and just leaving them there and just basically coding, which I guess there's nothing wrong with that because you are only going to learn how to code by coding and getting that done. But I still feel like I want to review the notes at least the next day after I write them, to like get a refresher before I start studying, but also just revisit anything that may have been bolded. Sometimes I leave myself little notes like, hey, revisit this or look more into that. So I want to make sure that I'm actively doing those things instead of just writing them down and being like, okay, on to the next lecture, on to the next set of notes. So I definitely want to review my notes today from the last class, which I did the last lecture 2 days ago. I do want to, if you are not part of 100 devs that I always talk about on this freaking channel, if you're not part of it, a part of the boot camp is that you get these like code challenges during the course, during the lecture, and he will teach you something, then he will challenge you to go and create the code with the follow along materials. And you know, it's too much to explain if you're not into it, but basically we do challenges during the lecture, during the class time. And I found that going back and just reviewing those code challenges and deleting them, doing them over, deleting them, doing it over, just further solidifies the concepts and things that we learned. So the last class that I just took was about objects, and I pretty much got what he was saying, but because I'm still very insecure and unsure about arrays, I would love to go back and revisit those, because objects, everything in JavaScript, as he put it, is an object. So yeah, I need to redo the challenges. That's another thing. Like I said, I'm trying to get, you know, better at doing more often. Along with the idea of really solidifying knowledge is to do code wars. So I'm going to do 2 code wars. The instructor says that he recommends doing 1 to 2 a day. I try to do 2 at the least, but they are pretty fun. I was very intimidated the first time I did a code wars, but now I'm kind of like, they're kind of exciting. And it also is very rewarding to see at the end of the code wars, even if you don't do it perfectly and you have to like look up the solution or look up, you know, some type of help, is very satisfying to see that at some points within that challenge, I was on the right track. I had the idea of what I needed to do, but it all comes down to that syntax. It's always the syntax that trips me up, but I've been able to like kind of jog my memory and be like, okay, at the beginning of this challenge, maybe I need to use the math.round method, or I'm gonna have to use, you know, I kind of have an idea of the methods that I might need to use to solve the problem, but I just can't remember the syntax, or I can't remember what else I need to put with it, because I'm still like learning about and trying to use more like arrow functions and things like that. So anyway, the code wars really help. That's a tip if you are studying any type of programming language. I think they have all the programming languages on there, like Python and Ruby, I think. But I know for sure JavaScript is on there. I highly suggest doing some code wars challenges. And then the last thing I wanted to do today was brainstorm my next project, because I do want to start making, I think I want to create a blog like for my next project, because there is opportunity there to apply everything that I know. And I think it would be fun. It's something that I need anyway. Like, I have a blog on my current website, but I don't actively use it. And I am getting back into my writing and into my blogging here. I would love to have something that I can like code from the bottom up, because right now my website is hosted, I built it on WordPress, and there's some like a little bit of custom code in there, but I want to do a full like from the ground up project and post that out there for everybody to visit. And you know, that's just a fun project that I can apply things as I learn them as far as the JavaScript. So I want to brainstorm some stuff, maybe look at some designs, I don't know, but I'll take you guys through like my process of kind of like an overview, like a really not in-depth overview of what I like to do when I start new projects and start to think about what it is that they're going to look like and what they're going to entail. And yeah, I think that's enough for today. That's a lot. We're going to see how much we need to get done. It's honestly not that much if you consider it. It's 1:32. I'm getting a very late start on things today. However, I think that this is enough to like get me to where I feel like comfortable, or like I feel good about making more progress on my journey. So let's just get started. I wanted to show you guys really quickly what I meant about taking something from your notes or taking something from the lecture and then using that actual, I guess, syntax to plop into Anki to review later, so that you can kind of know what steps or what you might have included in the syntax to solve a problem. So one of the things that I wanted to add in here was when we were talking about sort, and one of the ways that you could add it would be to, let's see, I'm literally copying this from my notes. So let sorted equal array dot sort, and then you put your, the only thing is like you have to, I'm so used to working with VS Code and it like auto populates everything for you. But let's see. So this is for the particular problem or whatever we were going over. This would be an example of a way to solve that problem, or an example of a way to write sort. So this is what I would plop into my JavaScript deck. As you can see, I have my JavaScript here. This is what the front of the card will look like, and then this will be the answer. So I probably will write something more of, sort is used to get numbers in a certain order. And then underneath, so that's what the front of the card would say, and then underneath it is what the back of the card would say, which is an example of syntax. So I probably will write like, what is an example of the syntax? Something like that. This is just an example, but yeah, just try to put anything that you can think to put in there as an example, so that you can have that active recall and get some space repetition going. All right, I'm going to take a break to get away from the computer screen for a little while, rest my eyes from that, and take the dog out, do some cleaning, and call my mom. Hey, mommy. Honestly, I am literally tired. I'm trying to go through the recap of things that we did in the last class. Like I said, hopefully you guys can hear me, because I did start the dishwasher when I was cleaning up, because I don't know, I just like to get rid of all the dirty dishes. So anyway, like I said, I have been reviewing some of the stuff. This is just like array review, and then we did like one intro object thing. So I need to just go back over that because I do want to take the next class this week, which will give me 2 classes down this week, which has been the goal, to start ramping it up to being able to take 2 lectures per week. So pretty proud of myself for that. So we're gonna do that because it's only Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. I'm bad at like telling y'all what days it is, but yeah, I'm gonna continue this before I hop into Code Wars, and then we'll do some brainstorming because I need to charge my battery. That's one thing about the Sony too. Like, you guys know I usually use my DJI, but last vlog and this vlog, I've been trying to get back into my Sony since it's been found. And there's some things that are getting on my nerves coming from the DJI to this, but we'll get through. I just have to get used to it. So, all right, we're on my DJI for a second because as soon as I told y'all I was trying to hurry up and do that before the camera died, it died. What I was gonna say is that we have been without a washer. I kind of briefly mentioned this in another video, but we've been without a washer for, it's been some weeks, and they gave us a key to be able to go use an empty unit down the hall. So we've been able to wash clothes, but it's still like a hassle because I can't really like take a whole bunch of clothes down. My husband's like tired of, who wants to rip and run up and down the hallway? So they literally, I was just about to say like, hopefully they deliver it today. And as soon as the camera died, the door knocked, or something, they knocked on the door and brought it. So we're able to wash clothes in our own unit again. And this one is so nice compared to the last one we had. Like, my husband got so tired, he was like, I'm not ripping and running up and down this hallway anymore. So we have some backed up laundry, but we're gonna take care of that as soon as this, they put it on like a rinse cycle to rinse out. He said he's rinsing out anything that came, you know, it may have been sitting there from being in the factory and everything. So as soon as that's done rinsing, he said maybe do it one more time, and then we can start washing our own clothes in our unit again. I know this is crazy. It probably sounds like not a huge problem, but you really don't understand like what you have until you don't have it. That's the best way I can put it. But there's a mess in the hallway now from them moving in and out, moving out the old one and bringing in the new one. So I'm getting ready to vacuum and probably mop that hallway area because I see some stuff that I don't like. So yeah, let me do that. All right, I swept up the hallway, but honestly, there's some stuff. I'm gonna probably ask my husband to help me with mopping because the guy came in and there's like hella like shoe marks on the floor that I know is probably gonna take like a lot of scrubbing. And to be completely honest, my back hurts right now, so I don't think that I need to be doing that. But they also scratched up the floor, so hopefully when we mop, that all comes up because right now it looks gross, and then the scratches, you can like really see them. So hopefully that comes up, but at least we have a washer. So one thing I will say that I realized today that really helped, and hopefully it'll help you too, is not always do you have to take notes in your notebook, but you really want to leave notes as comments in your actual code. And obviously like that's something that you should be doing. I knew that, but it really helped me today because what I did during the last lecture was, as I was taking notes, I knew that there was a function, an array that we did. It was a problem that we had to solve for arrays, and I knew I didn't understand why he did part of that array. The solution, I did not understand it, so I put on there to refer back to a certain timestamp in the video. So I went back to the timestamp, and for some reason when he explained it again, after I had tried it myself outside of class, I did it myself, and then I got what I was supposed to do. I got the syntax and everything, but I didn't understand the why. So that's what a lot of this is too, is you need to understand why you're doing certain things. That's why it's not always ideal to just be copying and pasting code. Like, you really want to understand the code to know why you're doing certain things, because you'll understand. I don't know, it just obviously makes you a better programmer. Anyway, so I went back, and just having that second explanation outside of class after I tried it myself as well solidified everything, and I was able to understand it so much better. So create notes in your comments, revisit whatever you did in the lectures, actually try to do it yourself. Go back, see if you need to revisit that lecture again if it was recorded, and see if you can listen to that same thing again after you've already tried it yourself and looked at your notes, and see how much better you're able to understand, and things will click. So that just happened to me today during my study session, so I just wanted to share that. I also finished 2 Cold War challenges today, so I'm really proud of myself for that. One was one that I revisited because I couldn't figure out the solution last time, and then I did end up looking at the solution today because I had the right idea. Like I keep saying, like you'll have the right idea of how to solve the problem, but sometimes it's the syntax. It's like, why isn't this working? And honestly, what I was doing was way too much. I was trying to do way too much. And there's always like different ways to get to the same solution in programming in general, but sometimes, I don't know, I just was making it way too complicated and it was unnecessary. So when I saw the solution, I was like, are you kidding? Like I literally looked at the screen and was like, are you kidding? So I don't want to show obviously the Code War solutions and the Code Wars that I was doing because you guys need to do your own Code Wars and people are doing Code Wars. You don't want to put the solution up. You need to be doing them yourselves, obviously. So I'm not going to like show the ones that I did, but the next one I did was something I had never seen before. And I was able to do it without looking up any help, looking at solutions, looking at anything. And so I was really proud of myself for that. And I felt like that was a great way to end the actual study portion of my day. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cook dinner and then I'm going to maybe go back and start brainstorming what I want to do for the blog that I want to code out. And I'll definitely show you guys that if I sit down and do that. So while that stuff is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start the process for brainstorming my next project. So what I like to do is I have a notebook. This is my notebook that I showed you guys in another video. It's by a brand named Berga and it is very, very great quality. I ended up giving my daughter one of these notebooks because she loves stationery and she loves to write too. So this is specifically for my code journey. This is like where I have anything to do with any podcast that I come across that have valuable tips, or I want to take notes during a podcast that's tech related or related to the industry in some kind of way. I also put in here any journaling, so anything about imposter syndrome, so I can get my thoughts together and talk myself out of any self-doubt. I'll put that in here specific to coding. I also want to put like all of my accomplishments and milestones that I hit in here just as a kind of keepsake to look back on the things that I had to go through throughout this process until I fill up this notebook. Another thing that I will be putting in here is things like this, which is new projects and brainstorming those projects, kind of jotting down my, first round thoughts for the project. So what I'm gonna do is right in here, I'll ask questions to myself like, what is the project? So I'll probably put some type of generic title for it. So what is the project? Why am I building it? What problem is it solving? Or, what do I need to have it do? Basically like the core features, the functionality. And then I'll usually put like the tech stack. So like for this is going to be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I honestly don't know exactly how I want to implement the JavaScript yet, just because I just don't know that far. But that's part of this session, which I probably won't get that far today. This is just more so to like kind of go over with you guys what I like to do. So again, just figuring out those core questions that you want to ask at the beginning of your project and just writing down the answers. Let me check these burgers real quick. They're sounding real loud. My daughter and I were laughing because I said the burgers were sounding loud. Y'all know what I meant. Like the sound of it frying was getting loud. Anyway, so I do that. I'll brain dump in a journal. You can do mind mapping, so you can write down the actual like name of the project and then map out from there all the things that you want to implement. And it kind of gives you this structure. I don't know. I just love mind mapping. So if you don't know what that is, please look that up on YouTube or Google or something. I will maybe go over it in another video as well, but that is not for this video. So some places that I find inspo are Pinterest, of course, and I'll type in things into the search bar like web design inspo, or I'll even search for magazine layouts, because magazine layouts to me give you a really good idea and inspiration on how to actually lay out different parts of your page outside of your typical layout that you might see in web design. And so I'll look up magazine layouts and it'll just kind of jog my brain on ways to maybe layer some elements and overlap some elements to give it different, I guess, dimension. I don't know these words, but it'll just give you other inspo outside of your typical box layouts that you might just get just looking up some web design. Because typically, if you really pay attention to web design, a lot of it is the same kind of structure. It's just different designs, colors, elements, assets that make it look a little different. So I don't know, I kind of get my inspo from there, what kind of like textures and elements that I want to use as far as shapes and different, I like really ununiform looking things. So I love looking on Pinterest for things like that. Another thing you can do is Google the magazine layouts, and those are just different ways that I like to do. I have a whole reel on like where to find inspo, so I'll leave that in the description box maybe, and you can get other inspiration from places outside of Pinterest. And another thing that I love to do is look up color palettes on Pinterest. I also like to use the website Coolers, which I learned about when I worked at the creative agency, because one of the designers, she loved using that, so I love using that. And it kind of like generates these cool different color palettes, and you get to choose which colors look best with each, with each other. So there's so many things that you can do to get that first round of brainstorming and design inspo, especially for those of you like me who are not designers and designers by heart. You just want to get in and code, but those are some things that help me. Also, just looking at the things around you, to be honest, you can get inspired by so many different things. So that's kind of my tips on what to do, and hopefully that helped. All right, it has been a long day. I need to get these burgers off the stove, feed my family, hang out with my family, get them together, make sure that they're okay, because I don't know, you just saw one little Afro puff go by behind me. She has a cold, and I think my oldest might be getting a little bit of a cold now, so I need to be in mommy mode full effect right now. So hopefully you found this video helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for being here, for watching to this point. If you found this video helpful at all, go ahead and give it a like, and I love you guys. You know that. I'll see you in the next one.